Era lì, a San Francisco. Sembrava che l'intera città stesse crollando. Quei tizi scattavano foto, come se lo stessero aspettando.
Credi che tuo padre lavorasse per loro?
Questa roba era nella sua cassaforte.
Chi siete? Cos'è Monarch?
Was it more difficult and challenging to direct all the different timelines on WandaVision or the different timelines on Monarch?
Both equally challenging in different ways, but that's what I love as a filmmaker, is to find those challenges I haven't done before.
We see from the very first scenes, the monstrous production value of this project. What was the most monstrous scene to shoot and why?
What's so beautiful about the show to me is that it's seen the world of monsters from a human point of view. And so we were always trying to anchor the monsters that we saw from the point of view of our characters. So I think probably the most important, well, they're all sort of important, but the scene on the Golden Gate Bridge where Kate experiences Godzilla is so fundamental to everything that happens in the series, you know, as is the opening of the pilot with John Goodman and what happens to him on Skull Island. These are formative events, and we're experiencing them from the ground level, not from the sky level, as we're used to seeing monsters battling, but to actually be down there on the ground in the dust with the humans who are being affected by them.
Why do you think the MonsterVerse still applies so much charm to these days to the audience? And what charm applied to you to come on board on this project?
I've been a Godzilla fan since I was a little kid. I played with Godzilla toys as a kid. I watched the movies, especially with my dad. And Godzilla just is one of those characters who has appealed generation to generation globally. You know, obviously began in Japan, but is beloved all over the world, in Italy, all over. And I think for me, you know, he represents wonder. You know, and I think wonder is why we watch television and movies. It's that mix of awe and magic and terror, and it's something unknowable and yet beautiful. You know, so I think that's why Godzilla is so appealing.
Choose, but be honest, Godzilla or King Kong, and why?
Well, I wouldn't want to choose between those two because they're so incredible, and I think that both of them have endured for the same reason. There's so much heart. We have so much empathy for both of those characters. They're terrifying, but they're also beautiful. We want them to protect us, but we also are terrified of them when they're marching our direction and we can't get out of the way fast enough. They're forces of nature, and they're also forces that balance nature. And I think that's what I love so much about Godzilla and Kong, that both of them are about making our world work better and about keeping the bad guys at bay and allowing the world to be what it's supposed to be, a healthy place.
Okay. How did you work with actors to maintain the human level on this monstrous story?
We started with episodes 1 and 2, which I directed, and we were able to create a visual approach to the show that was focused on the humans. We made decisions about how we were going to approach different periods, how that would look, how we were going to approach monster design, methodology, and all of that then is inherited by the filmmakers who come after. They can look at the pilot and the second episode as a template, but they can also bring so much of their own ability as filmmakers, their own point of view. And I think that's what's so important, that you're both playing within the same world, so the show has consistency, but you're bringing your own passion to it so that every story and every episode is alive as it can be.
And you do feel the responsibility for being the first that had to open the dances in a way, I imagine.
Yes, it's a tremendous pleasure to do the first episode of a new series. Not only are you bringing together the company of actors and helping them to build the characters that will hopefully live for years to come, but you're also designing the world, you're designing how you want to film it. All of that is incredibly fun as a filmmaker.
Okay. Now I have to wrap, but I wanted to thank you for the bottom of my heart for the amazing show that was WandaVision. Best Marvel series so far for me, so thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.